For the last 80 years, one currency has ruled the world. Not because of tradition, not because of politics, because of trust. The United States dollar. It sits at the center of global trade, global debt, and global power. And right now, for the first time in decades, that grip is loosening. This is AxisShift. To understand what is happening to the dollar, you need to understand what made it dominant in the first place. After World War II, the United States emerged as the world's largest economy, its most powerful military, and its most stable financial system. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement made the dollar the official reserve currency of the global financial system. Every other currency would be pegged to the dollar. That system eventually ended, but the dollar's dominance did not. Because by then, the world had built itself around it. The dollar became more than a currency. It became infrastructure. Airlines buy fuel in dollars. Governments borrow in dollars. Oil is priced in dollars. Global trade is settled in dollars. Even countries that dislike the United States still rely on the dollar system every single day. For decades, the dollar system shaped everything from energy prices to mortgage rates to the cost of imported goods. Which means changes in the dollar system eventually affect everyone, even people who never think about currencies at all. That was the dollar's ultimate power. Not its military, not its economy, its indispensability. Which is exactly why the rest of the world has started searching for alternatives. The dollar's share of global foreign exchange reserves has fallen from 71% in 1999 to approximately 57% today. Its lowest level since 1994. Central banks are not dumping dollars in a panic, but they are quietly diversifying into gold, which central banks have been buying at over 1,000 tons annually for 3 consecutive years. Gold prices have surged as central banks increase purchases and investors look for protection against geopolitical and currency risk. That is not coincidence. That is the world hedging against dollar dependency. In recent years, confidence in the dollar system has faced growing pressure from rising debt, geopolitical fragmentation, sanctions, trade conflicts, and accelerating global competition. None of these trends alone threatens the dollar, but together, they are slowly reshaping the global financial system. And then came the moment that changed everything. When the United States froze $300 billion of Russian foreign reserves after the Ukraine invasion, it sent a message to every country in the world. The message was this: your dollar reserves are only safe if America likes you. For many nations, that was the moment they started looking for exits. China's CIPS payment system is growing as a direct competitor to SWIFT, the network the US has used to cut countries off from global finance. BRICS nations are exploring a blockchain-based payment system. A potential gold-backed currency is under discussion. The goal is not to destroy the dollar. The goal is to no longer need it. But here is where the analysis needs to be honest. The dollar is not collapsing. Replacing the dollar would require more than economic size. It would require deep capital markets, legal trust, military protection, financial stability, and global confidence built over decades. No alternative currently offers all of that. The euro has structural problems. The yuan is not freely convertible. Bitcoin remains too volatile for central bank reserves. The dollar still dominates global payments. It still dominates global debt. What is happening is not a collapse. It is a slow erosion of trust. And in geopolitics, trust, once lost, is very difficult to rebuild. So what does this mean for you? If the dollar weakens further, imported goods become more expensive. Inflation stays elevated for longer. Gold and real assets become more attractive. For investors, diversifying beyond dollar-denominated assets is no longer just smart. It may become essential. The real shift is not the end of the dollar. It is the end of a world where the dollar had no challenger. A more fragmented financial system is emerging, one where power, trade, and capital are becoming increasingly multipolar. And that changes everything. Subscribe to AxisShift, because the world is turning, and you should know which way.